play a very important role in our ecosystems. For the most part, their role is in insect population control. A single little brown bat, a little creature that weighs only about 8 grams, can eat almost 1,000 insects in a single hour. So if you're looking at 8,000 insects a night, roughly, that adds up in a week to about 35,000 insects, and the number rapidly goes out of control. So if all of those insects were not being eaten by bats and were instead around to bite people and spread disease and eat crops, we'd be looking at a significant problem. So in response to the rapid spread of a fungal disease known as white nose syndrome, ACAP has undertaken a bat monitoring study to confirm whether the disease is in Cape Breton or if it has passed over us so far and our bats aren't yet infected. What white nose syndrome does is it wakes bats up from hibernation due to deep tissue damage and dehydration, and that causes them to use their fat stores before the winter is up. So they leave the cage that they're in, looking for food and water when there's none to be had, and they subsequently starve or freeze to death. So the summer will be mostly used as the testing period to get used to our handheld detector and to do some bat walks for public outreach and education, and to use the stationary detectors to gather some contextual data about bat activity in the area. Later, in the winter months, those stationary detectors will be moved to locations near known hibernacula, where bats hibernate. And if we get any detections during the winter months, that will be highly indicative of the presence of white nose syndrome and the fungus Geomyces destructans. So we're hoping not to get any detections then, but only time will tell.
We have the ACAP bat crew out. We have Brendan, Sarah, Jessica who's hiding, and Glenn.
We have 2 of the SM2 Bat Plus units from Wildlife Acoustics. One of them is configured with 0 crossing mode and one of them is configured with full spectrum. And we're going to set them up side by side and see if we can get a comparison of the 2 modes.
And we'll be setting them up down here in the trees. And this is just for testing, so they won't be here too long.
Okay, we're sitting here in the by our trails today in Sydney to demonstrate the Wildlife Acoustics Echo Meter. This is a portable meter which we've been using to detect bats around Cape Breton. We also have 4 stationary units which we leave out for weeks at a time to do some long-term recordings. This one is predominantly a directional microphone which you can point around to find where the bats are located, and it has a device in it which picks up the bat chirps, these ultrasonic echolocation chirps, which it uses for getting around, and divides their frequencies by whatever division you want so that you can hear it.
So it's around 9:30, and the bats are just circling over the treetops feeding.